No, he's
That'll be done.
he's due. Princeton.
Being like a year.
Yeah, Princeton.
Well,
Yeah, I have customers.
that way. And I want to put one other.
Already out of phase. Birdie's not in back. We're not gonna match. Down. I will find out. The end of that. On the edge of the sand limit.
Small guys.
Well, kind of like.
That.
He did some way. Yes.
I now call City Council meeting, City of Oak Hill, West Virginia, September 9th, 6 p.m. We will begin with our invocation by Reverend Michael Meadows of the Oak Hill Church of the Brethren, followed by the pledge of allegiance by Councilman Roger Evans.
Will you pray with me? Heavenly Father, I come before you in the precious and powerful name of Jesus. Lord, I believe that your presence is here in this council. And Father, I don't know what everyone had to deal with today, but I asked if it is anything that would not bow its knee to your will in this place, that it would do so at this time, because of your authority over all things. Lord, I pray for this council. I pray for those that have come to meet with this council, and I pray that everything will go according to your will and your purpose. Lord, we look around our country and we see so much division. Lord, I pray that this city, the city of Oak Hill, be the opposite. That we would be a source of unity, and that it would begin with this council. And so, Father God, I pray that your agenda would be known, that it would be heard, and that it would be felt in this place tonight. That everything would be conducted in accordance with your will, your purpose, your plan. Us as a people to surrender to you, knowing that if we do, we can do all things. So, Lord, we give you this time. We give you this city. And we ask that you would do what only you can do as you move the mountains before us. I pray this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
That's all.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our roll call
Mayor Charles Briscoe,
here.
Councilman at Large Bill Hannibal,
Here.
Councilors from Ward 1, Terry Van Buskirk,
Here.
Roger Evans,
Here.
Diana Janey. Here. Councilors from Ward 2, Tim Buskus,
Here.
Jay Elder,
Here.
Chris Steele.
Here.
Thank you. You've all read the minutes. You also want to prepare a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make the motion.
We get a second.
I'll say.
Thank you. Motion is properly moved in second. Approval of minutes. All those in favor? All opposed? Motion is carried. We need to do the same with the treasurer's report. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I second it. Motion been properly moved in second that we have the treasurer's report. All those in favor? All opposed? Thank you very much. Motion is carried. Do we have any correspondence? Thank you very much. Moving right along to our citizens' comments. A distinguished citizen tonight, and I'm proud to say he's my neighbor. Mr. Adam Tony, you'll be up first.
This short distance, I think I'll need it. First of all, I ask you to bear with me. Lost a dear friend today. A few people know him, Roger Carroll, the handyman for Oakfield. Did everything for everybody. Got bad news. He passed away suddenly yesterday. And I made some mistakes. Bear with me. Hopefully we'll get them straightened out. First of all, I want to congratulate all you people, and I mean it from my heart, and for running for city council and taking on this responsibility. Thank God you got some leaders here that knows our city. So I have a story to tell. I have a gentleman here with me from Highland Machinery. You need to hear their story. And we need more than 3 minutes. And if we out of line, not talking business, please wrap the gavel. We respect you. We'll shut up and leave, you know. So I like to tell my story, and I like to tell some of their story over here since they were here. First of all, I've been in business here 62 years. I'm probably the oldest businessman left here in Oak Hill. And I've had the rough ups and downs. I'm the man that blew up Fountain Terrace bowling lanes by accident, everything documented, proven. Can you get my phone cut off from me? He must have it cut off. I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm sorry. He cut it off, but it didn't work. So again, I apologize. I'd like to tell my story, my little company. I got two operations, and I need to explain the wholesale and the retail, how we operate to survive. And then I know about them because of their employees. About 80 or 90, whatever the employees have out there, close to 100. Most of them are my customers, and I'm concerned about them. They're customers. They're a customer, but they're not a big customer. Highland Machines. They contract all their hauling, so the big trucks that goes there, that's all out of town contract people. First of all, we operate two businesses, and we've had you people have been here for a while. You knew we were uptown here, down Main Street here. We finally sold that building. We were getting $600 a month rent. Brian wouldn't agree to pay more rent to put a roof on it. We sold it, gave it away for $45,000. Jim Ayers was one of the purchasers, and Kevin Willis out here. We had help. The city of Oak Hill helped us. I had the Woolworth building rented from Joel McQuaid, the old home outfitting building located from the Doc Peterson owned. He loaned us for warehousing space. Obviously shut us down on Main Street, wouldn't let us load because at nighttime, snow, we couldn't back up that alley down there. But we found the Hex building, 6 inches of water, moved out there, fixed the roof. We moved out there, and we've had success. Today we operate 5 retail stores. We have 5 nice retail stores. We started with nothing down here on the corner, my brother and I. I come out of Malsia, Pahala, worked in 2 gas stations. I worked down here at the Pure Oil Station. I'm the one of boys. Hank Williams' Cadillac. My brother and I are in a movie. Hank's last trip. If y'all have seen it. My brother had the car that in the movie down here in his barn out down there for years. The last car made in the movie. But you don't want to hear all that history. But I've been here since '62. Lee Fraser signed my note down here. I had nothing. Got in the bowling business. The bowling alley burnt down. The former mayor of Oak Hill bought up the stock, collected the insurance, paid nobody. I lost my home. I bought the home twice on Oler Avenue, moved central, documented. But anyway, I had a work ethic. Lee Fraser knew it. Bob Thomas at TV station knew it. They kept me in the bowling business. Mr. Thomas gave me a little piece of that operation. I went out there and opened it. Walter Brown, the former mayor, owned White Oak Lanes. I helped them get to all I had the books. I did a term paper in college. I helped all of them in Oak Hill built the first bowling alleys. I was involved in every bowling alley. Walter Brown wanted my son to have them. He was getting old. He wanted my son to have the bowling alley. He left in the bowling alley out there, TV lanes. When I was at the legislature, I spent 16 years in the legislature. My wife and my son ran it when I was gone. Walter said, y'all, you come, you and your wife will sign a note. I want your son to have it. Charlie moved down there. What but a few months, every league, TV lanes moved to White Charlie Tony. He paid it off, paid the notes off at Diane's Bank in 5 years. So that's a little history. You need to know where we come from. He operated down there. He made money. So our tar business now, he had to come and help me. My brother and I was in partners to start with. We split up and I went to Beckley, got a store over there, started growing. And so today we have, as I said, 5 large stores. We have number 2 tar store in the state of West Virginia in Summersville. We just built a new $800,000 store on Hartman Road. We borrowed the money from, where's Diane has to go here. We borrowed the money from her bank. We borrowed all this money over the years, paid off Summersville, don't owe, paid off Oak Hill, but we owe for a store in Hurricane. We got $800,000. It's the cost overrun, had to keep borrowing money. We never missed a payment. She's sitting there, and when I'm gone, if I'm lying, she'll straighten me out. So just God's been good to us. We've survived. We had 127 employees. We're down to 80. I think today, my granddaughter told me about 81. We could use a few more employees, but we can't find them. People just won't work today. And we operate 2. I'll shut up and I'll tell you our problems. We operate 2 companies. We operate 5 retail stores. And I operate the wholesale company. I'm going all over the county. I deliver tires, 45 counties. I deliver I got 80% of the Department of Highways statewide, but I go to their district office. I don't go to every county. They got 10 district offices. Our county served, Pitt County served out of Lewisburg. I haul the tires in Lewisburg. They got all the back Oak Hill. They're within 400 yards of my warehouse, but they come there and buy 1 tire, but they can't buy 8 or 12. So, but to operate our retail stores, we run a wholesale company. My son has to buy volume to get the best price. You business people understand volume. The more you buy, the better price. We beat Walmart. Nobody beats Charlie Tony's price. We all work for less. My truck is 2012 model. I live in Florida Avenue, little corner, little 4-room house, wooden frame house. I bought twice. Finally bricked it. Put some cement porches. I don't live in Thousand Oaks or South Hills. You know, I drive a truck, 2012 model. I got 14 delivery trucks. Please come and look at it. We got 4 late models, 8 old trucks, 2 broke down. We're getting motors put in. We buy a truck. We buy these rental trucks, 100,000 miles, $14,000. Running about 50,000. Put a motor and a transmission, driving 200,000 more. Documented. Anybody look? Come and look and see. 300,000 miles. We repair them and keep running them. So we have to sell at wholesale, and I have to compete against the big boys. Our prices are low. We operate on 7%. So anybody, any figures, we lose money operating wholesale. Running all over the account, price of gasoline. But it enables my son. We couldn't sell that many tires. He orders five trailer loads of tires, 1,500 tires at the time. We couldn't sell them all in the retail stores. Enabled in a month's time to take and buy at the lowest level. We wouldn't qualify at the lowest level. That gives us the advantage in retail. So our B&O tax, we take it, we pay on wholesale. It's not much, but it's still is still a sizable sum. My truckers and my wholesale accounts, they can go to Prosperity over here. Y'all have figures and check it. There is no tax in Prosperity. There's no tax that we pay down in Hurricane. We're on the outskirts. We're within sight of the city limits of Hurricane. We're on the outskirts there at the lake. City Park Lake is not in the city down there. We don't pay no tax down there. We pay lower rates in Summersville than we do here. But people around here, these truckers, I wholesale like that. Richard Bailey down here in Duster, we're the only place in Pitt County you can get a truck tar fixed. His fire departments and all fire departments can't get a tar repaired, fixed nowhere in Pitt County but see Adam Tony. You can't get a tractor tar fixed nowhere in Fayette County, a farm tractor tar. Walmart don't repair tires. They won't repair your lawnmower tar. They won't repair your ATV, your four-wheeler tar. We're the only one that check the county out. Our county, our county's died, So I'm hoping that you'll take a look at our situation, on the tax structure that you all are talking about. I'd like to show you something here about our state revenue. The first 2 months of the fiscal year, I'm gonna give this gentleman here, he keep y'all look at it later. First 2 months of West Virginia's fiscal year this year, right, it'll tell you below projections. Fiscal years, y'all, like you all starts July and August. First 2 months, below estimates. First 2 months, the governor's bragged about, the surplus. Just let me tell one story about surplus real fast. You come to a store and you bought a tire. It was cheap. Old pickup truck tire 4 years ago was $100. Today that tar is $150. The new pickups for the last 6 years, anything last 6 years, the name brand good tires was $150. They now are $200. Please listen to this one. If you come to my store 4 years ago, you got an old model pickup, you bought a tire, $100, you paid 6% tax, you paid $106. You bought 4 tires, so you paid $424. 400 for the tires, $6 each tire, you pay $24. Today, the cheap tire, you come, it's $150. You pay $100, you pay $6 on the $100, you pay $3.50 on the $3, the $150 tire. Now you pay $9 tax. 4 9s is 36, opposed to 24. How many tires in West Virginia is sold today? Just 1 tar or 4 tires. People that used to buy 4, the old poor folks, they went to 2, now they buy 1 tar a month. You're a mathematician, you understand mathematics. Look at all the other sales just one day statewide. How much more tax money they are collecting because of this Biden economics that they're all living under. So you can see where the state, we're doing less money, doing less business. They're getting more tax, but that's doing less business. I'm sure y'all can figure that out real easy. An automobile. Now a pickup truck is $5,000 to $10,000 more than it was 4 years ago. On that $5,000 or $10,000, figure the extra tax that they are now collecting on that extra, not the $45,000. It takes $55,000 now to buy one. So I could tell all kind of stories, and I can't take up your time because I want to take and talk about Ohio. And that used to be Ohio Brass. Now it's Highland Machinery. I never talked to Bill McClanahan until last week. I invited him to a meeting. Got to know him, but I've been hearing about his employees talking about him. Maybe going to leave. Maybe have to transfer. Maybe they have to transfer to Beckley. or somewhere else that they've looked at. And they have some facts and figures, to to back it up. So those employees, they're my customers, Anybody come and invite you to come, and I'll tell you what he spent with me the last few years. They've been a regular customer, but it's a small amount. I'm speaking for his employees, our people that live here in our town and our surrounding towns around here. I don't want them going to Beckley. There's too many tire stores. There's 2 Walmarts over Beckley. I don't even know that one Walmart to contend with. Walmart and Somerville don't even sell tires. So, Walmart, one tire changer a day, one. I've got 5 out here and I need more. So, Raleigh County has offered them, everything's documented, a 50% tax break for 10 years on their tax in Raleigh County. He's already over there. I heard about it before I ever met him. He's got a building down in Mascot, so everything I'm telling you, if something's wrong, contact me now or tell me later that I've misrepresented. I'm not sure to do that. I'm here to help our town. I love this town. Y'all know it. I donate more money, my son and I, than anybody. They put us in the Hall of Fame, not for good athletes, because we donate to that school more than anybody. The teachers will tell you, they put us both in the Hall of Fame. We donate money. That's why they put us in the Hall of Fame. But I don't want to see them employees going, when the Raleigh County has offered them this tax break. He'd like to stay here. They've got a shop outside of Oak Hill, out between Lock Valley and Summerley, out there in the woods. This is where Roger Carroll was working, hauling gravel yesterday morning when he went home to eat. He'd been coughing up blood and he died on his kitchen floor yesterday morning. My friend and a lot of your all's friends. So I'm speaking on their department. His vice president has a copy of a couple of pass outs that y'all's permission. I'd like to pass them out. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mayor, do I have permission to let him pass out the? Come on up.
Yes.
Okay, he's gonna speak next.
Their accountant also has discovered that they are classified wrong here in the city of Oak Hill. They're under a different classification, and I understand that the accountant has notified probably the city manager here in town, here the council, about their problem. Mayor, manager, do you have any correspondence for them?
Not.
What?
I have not.
You have not?
No, unless our B&O tax clerk received it and she just hasn't brought it to me yet.
Okay. Hey, Bill, would you talk to the city manager tonight before you leave here? Bill McClanahan here. He's president of Island Machinery, and he has his vice president with him here. So he'll get that.
He's gonna actually speak once you conclude. So
What?
he's going to actually come up and talk once you finish.
Well, he's just here to answer some questions. If you have any questions, if you have some questions, go ahead and answer. Go ahead and ask him now, please.
You wanna come up? You're on the list.
Come on up here, Bill. You can take a lead. Excuse me.
Thank everyone for having us here and speaking with us tonight. I'm gonna keep mine short. Our CPA is supposed to be contacting the city council here to change our status from wholesaler to OEM. Now, we was selling a lot of parts here in Oak Hill at the plant we got here. And we bought a place in Beckley. We moved all that over to Beckley. So we don't sell nothing, no parts, nothing like that out of here now. What we do in Oak Hill now is just manufacture new equipment. we manufacture equipment throughout the world. It's mining equipment. It's not just necessarily coal mining equipment. All the salt mines, the potash, soda ash. We ship stuff into Canada, Mexico, China, India, Australia, all around the world. But it's the same type of equipment. Very little changes. Anyhow, two things I want to talk about to the council tonight is one, the status on the change to OEM. The second one is I will have to be contacting the county. Well, the county taxes we're paying, personal taxes. If I told you how much I was paying in personal taxes in Fayette County, you'd probably have a heart attack. So I'm going to tell you. So anyway, we have been offered a deal in Raleigh County. The next 10 years, they will give us 50% off the personal property taxes. And to me, that's a big pile of money. We are planning on building the building. Here in Oak Hill would be the best place for it to do it, but we'd have to be able to work with the county on the tax situation on that. Because we already have manufacturing here, and what we'd like to build would be a fabrication shop to go along with the manufacturing, because we're growing too fast and we need to keep expanding. But I either do that here or in Beckley, depending on which one I get the best deal with on personal property taxes. Because like I said, it's such a large number that we're growing. We need to take care of our communities, but we also need to keep all the dollars in the company we can to keep growing the business. Right now, we've got 75 employees here, and I'd like for it to be 150 employees. So that's my spiel. So if anybody's got any questions, I'll get out of your way.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Paula McCutcheon from the Health Department.
He passed out a sheet for Fayette County and said what to pay here. Which taxes that you pay. You got two sheets, two copies.
Let's see.
Okay, my name is Paula McCutcheon. I'm a PRSS with the Fayette County Health Department. I came here tonight just to ask for support and
Copies.
to see, we were gifted, they're called vending machines, but it's more like a newspaper box. Our plan was to put naloxone in the boxes, put resources in the boxes. I work with substance use disorder a lot, and I'm in recovery. I'm in the harm reduction program. We do a lot with like linkage to care, Hep C treatment, testing, things like that. So, but I did want to ask for your approval. We have a board, we wanted to ask before we tried to place it in the city, just to get your support. It's something that I would oversee, and as a health department or our quick response team would help to oversee, maintaining it. We have the box. I just wanted to get support to put it in the community. We will manage it, upkeep, put resources in it, hopefully to help connect people to treatment. This is kind of what it looks like. I printed out a picture. There's also a QR code on the side. If they're not trained in naloxone, they can scan this and get trained. Right, but it's not a requirement. It is the first FDA approved over-the-counter medicine for reversal. But we also plan to put resources and other things in the box. Kind of like you've seen the boxes and stuff. We might put non-perishable food items. We might put resources, things like that. But we just wanted to seek support or approval from you guys.
You have a location in mind?
I had a couple. I've spoken with a couple of the gas stations. We thought about the hospital. I haven't reached out, but I know Oak Hill's home, and I know that we have been hit hard, and it's getting better, and people are getting help. But I just want to be that for the community, and I want to help in any way we can. And that's, as the health department, we want to keep people safe and alive, and we care about our community. So I'm open to suggestions, and I would just to get y'all support, or if you have ideas, that's great, but, I just wanted to get approval and support first.
We'll give you guys a time to talk about it, think about it, and then maybe we can address it again in the next council meeting. Make a decision then, maybe. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Up next, we have Michelle Reiser with Wheeling for Hope.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for letting me speak for a few minutes. So I know I've addressed and came and spoke with you all about our big event coming up at Ace Adventure Resort, Wheeling for Hope. This year we're co-hosted by Ford Fest Events, which is a national organization. So this is the first time that Ford Fest Events has been in the state of West Virginia. They do Michigan, they do Oregon, they do several states, but this is the first time they've hit West Virginia. And they did so because of Wheeling for Hope, and they're all about, you know, the mission and mental health and for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So our first stage was August 9th through the 11th. It was called, it's called Hill Fest, Ford Fest. The first stage was August 9th through the 11th at Snowshoe Resort, and it yielded $3 million in revenue for the local area, as well as almost 2,000 people. And the second stage is at Ace Adventure Resort here in Oak Hill. It happens September 27th through the 29th. We're super excited about this event. It's going to be much larger than last year. We have a lot of different support and companies and corporations and people that are coming in from states. So we'll be representing for many states, large corporations and Chaos Motorsports and Jeep and media coverage from all over West Virginia. And they've already been running, you know, social media ads through Facebook and TikTok and all that. You'll see advertisements that'll pop up if it's something that, you know, your algorithm tells that you're interested in. What we're doing this year for the event, in short, and the one thing that I wanted to make sure that we were all squared away here with is the cruise-in Friday night uptown, where the roads will be shut down. And the cruise-in is from 5 to 8. So what we'll do is at Ace Adventure from 12 to 8 is registration, pre-registration for campers and stuff and people to start buying their tickets for Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to convoy from 4:30 from Ace Adventure Park to town. So I'm not sure what time exactly everything will get closed down and we can get our vendors in and get set up.
It'll be right around 4. We have to allow the school buses to.
Buses, that's right. Okay, buses. Okay. So someone will be here at 4, just before 4, assist, help, do whatever we need to do, and be setting up tents and hanging banners and things like that. Then we'll convoy from Ace from 4:30 until 5. So I probably am going to need police assistance for all that traffic to come through from Ace. Contestants and registrants will be there on Friday, you know, but they'll be coming in and getting set up. So I'll, I guess, collaborate with you on that to get us out safely and into traffic. And then we'll park all along the streets. It's a free event. We welcome all citizens and everybody to come, and whatever places we have left after we've parked event vehicles. Park your vehicle, park your side-by-side, park your off-road vehicle, your antique car, your antique truck. It's a free event. We offer you to come in and park for the cruise-in until we get all those spots, you know, filled up and everything. And then we're going to have a band, a DJ between 5 and 8. And then also we're doing barbecue and some fair festival food. So just a handful of vendors. And basically it's just to let the city of Oak Hill know what's going to be happening at Ace Adventure Resort if they haven't heard for Saturday and Sunday. And then of course it's give, you know, everybody something to do. And this is going to be a fantastic time for all of these people that are coming in from out of state that will be coming in on Friday because they're traveling so far to get a break with our team. So this is our time to, you know, show out and show them what Oak Hill has and how beautiful the little city and how kind of citizens that we have. So with that being said, then on Saturday, we will do from 9 until dark. We have off-roading challenges. It's open to all off-road vehicles, side-by-sides, motorcycles, four-wheelers, whatever you want to bring. 1,500 acres of new established trails just for Wheeling for Hope, as well as we had a gentleman, along with the owner of Fort Best Events, who develops courses for the Department of Defense, and they got together and they developed us a multi-acre obstacle course with some amazing challenges. We'll be doing time trials on and ravine climbs and things. So there will be spectator areas. There will be tickets sold. The Jeep Babes of West Virginia. We have about 6 Jeeps for representing the Jeep Babes of West Virginia, which is the volunteer group that runs the Wheeling for Hope. If you do not have an off-road vehicle, if you want to get out on the obstacle course or on the trails, those 5 Jeeps on the hour will be doing thrill rides. So we will load up the Jeeps and we will be taking you through the obstacle course and a small portion of the trails. So you can get a taste of what it's like and maybe go out and buy something for a vehicle. And then of course that night we have bands, food vendors, merchandise vendors. We have a live auction at 6 o'clock. We also have speakers. We have a couple senators that are coming and speaking along with the owners of Fort Best and myself. So we'll have, and then of course, all weekend long, we have a huge counseling area because the mission of this whole event is to bring awareness for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, for suicide loss and mental health, and also to spread the word about 988, the new suicide prevention hotline for everyone to text and call. So, you know, without losing sight of our mission, this is for a fantastic, wonderful cause. It is going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Lots going on. Sunday, we have some vendors that are going to be lingering on Sunday. We'll do it from 9 to 5. And we'll have a car and truck show and shine, and also an offering side-by-side show and shine. Registration's at 12. Trophies and prizes are at 4. So I've got my question asked about the buses. We can come up at 4, make sure we can help out with everything closing down. I'll get with him on security and also security for Saturday nights. I think you guys provided last year. And so, any questions or anything that I need to know or need to do, or I think I gave everybody a little bit of information on it so that you have it and you can go online to the website to look it all up. We're still getting squared away with fire departments. And I've already talked with counselors. We'll have school counselors from 2 different counties there. The Fayette County Sheriff Department's going to be there with floppy-eared dogs. So when the kids come over to pet the dogs and see the bubble machine, the police officers will be able to read the children's AFSP book to them. And then the counselors will have an opportunity to ask parents what they need or if their children are doing well. I think that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wonderful.
How you gonna make it bigger? Okay. I want to see this. Last year was amazing.
Last year was baby to this. You very much watch. Because I know you'll be there.
Oh, absolutely. Mr. Harris.
Good evening. Just a couple things I want to address. One is the word around is that you want to raise B&O taxes. I don't think the business owners should have to pay for the mistakes the cities have made. I mean, instead of buying new vehicles, we can go to some of these auctions and buy state vehicles that are maintained well. I mean, that's just one thing. And I've also talked to Mike a couple times. We got a problem with bikes, motorbikes, and electric bikes riding up and down the sidewalks. Every morning I go to work, there's 10, 12 older ladies walk up and down the street for their exercise. And these bikes and mini bikes, especially the mini bike, I mean, they're riding down the sidewalk. Something needs to be done before somebody gets hurt. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Cindy Whitlock.
Sir.
You want to put the 988?
We have one next door in my building. I didn't bring one of these for everybody.
Well, thank you very much.
I'm gonna just set this up here.
I put it on the window outside.
Thank you. We got all these up to people Oakley Festival. But thank you.
Under $25 under.
Didn't me. I didn't know about you guys. Please. What's in the packet are some pictures of various and sundry schemes I've been involved in breast cancer awareness. what New River Health is doing this year, we're gonna, our event for October is called Paint the Town Pink. And we're trying to get all 5 towns that we serve the folks in to support a big endeavor to make sure that women plan their mammograms in October. We have several events on the first page that you'll see. One of those is to hang the pink scarf, the longest pink scarf in the world, which was initiated here in Oak Hill. That's part of it, laying right there. 10,000 feet of that is stored in Dana Treadway's garage. We put it up at Tamarack for several years. We put it up in Illinois. We put it up on floats for the Oakleaf Festival parades. We've sent it to several places to be on display. The West Virginia Water Company displayed it in Charleston. So we're going to try to display it and give it its honor due at our new place in Oak Hill. We'll also have a tree there, much like the hospice tree. In fact, it is the hospice tree that we're going to dedicate to those we have lost and those who are battling breast cancer. We'll have a 5K walk run, and I hope Mike will save us from getting killed and run over out at our place when we do a 5K out there. It's pretty dangerous sometimes, but Active Southern West Virginia has laid out a 5K run walk that we're going to do out there, and that will be on Sunday afternoon, the 13th of October. And we are going to try to get a car show of pink vehicles out there. I just know Mr. Willis has a tow truck with a pink ribbon on it, and I've seen some in the state. Hopefully we'll get that to grow over the years. We'll do lunch and learns every Wednesday. We'll have education and a bag lunch. We're going to have our light poles out there. We'll have kind of similar to what you've done with the veterans, only those will be pink ribbons out at our place. Rewards for those who get mammograms. Our employees have designed breast cancer t-shirts, and we will be having staff contests to see how many people that we can get out to get their mammograms. For the towns, what we're offering is a banner for your street. We will pay for it if you want it. We are offering posters for the merchants, which will have information about how to get a mammogram, and if they want part of the scarf on display in their stores, we can make a little roll of that for them as well. We will have the yard signs that you stick in the ground. We will make sure that the city has those. And then and we will frame a proclamation for the mayor or city council to sign each of our towns. The idea being that we take this scarf, which represents people from all over the country, all over West Virginia, and tie them together through our 5 towns, through the county, into this scarf because of the common thread, the unfortunate common thread of breast cancer. And if there are anything else that you would like to do in support of this, let me know. We will have, one of the things somebody mentioned was putting mammogram reminders in bills, recognizing thrivers in your towns, help promote the events that other people are doing. I'm sure Plateau Medical will be involved as well. My committee consists of Roseanne Michaels, who is a survivor, Vicki Gay, Linda Pettit, who is a survivor, and several media representatives. My partners include ZMM, which has built the schools and which built our beautiful place out from Kmart into a remarkable health center, Alloy Credit, West Virginia Water, Fayette County Health Department, and Active Southern West Virginia. The pictures that you have here are the pictures of the scarf and its growth over the years, especially this paper here. When Terry Massey passed away, October 29th, 2009, which was 15 years ago this October. We started Terry's tribute with 2 intentions. One was to raise money for scholarship for kids who'd lost a parent to breast cancer. We have succeeded in delivering 7 scholarships to date. And number 2 was to come up with an extraordinary way to raise awareness about breast cancer. And what we landed on was the scarf. So people from all over the country, when they saw it at Tamarack, when they saw it locally, the first time we got together, Kay Bess is the one who figured out how big, how wide, the details. We laid it out on a table. It was 42 feet long. The second time we pulled it together, we put it up at the Lewis Center. It was 500 feet. It was over 1,000 feet the first time we put it on the fence at Oak Hill High School for the annual cancer walk. So over the years and over time, it has grown. And then of course, like anything else, the years pass and the mourning and the grieving, kind of the sharp edges kind of maybe aren't so rough as they were. But then this year we lost a young lady, a young woman, a very talented young woman who was the art teacher at Elk Hill High School, Jan Skoliff. She left behind a son who we have taken care of. He's an adult in college. Jan was a fabulous outdoors person, a fabulous supporter of recreation, and a very talented artist and an excellent teacher. So when she passed this spring and I crossed paths with other friends with the same challenge that we lived through, it kind of, again, threads came together, and that's one of the reasons we're having the race too. So I just am asking, New River Health makes no money off mammograms because we do not actually execute them, but we are in the business to refer women for those and to keep after them to make sure that they are done on a regular basis, make sure they find places to get those done. So it is not any kind of a promotion for us to make money. Of course, we appreciate the support of Oak Hill at our new location. We are in Summersville, Smithers, Sophia. We have a dental office at Lookout, and we have a pharmacy in Fayetteville. So we're going to ask all of those towns to get involved in this and tie this breast cancer thread together. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take my yarn and go home.
Up next, we have the recognition of Tyler Bragg, our GIS coordinator, on the receiving of a national award. And there he is on the screen. We really appreciate you, man. You really do. Do you use any words? Woo!
Don't get up first, crap.
No, I don't think I'm gonna cry. No, I do just want to say just a couple things. This truly, really, this award for the city of Oak Hill truly is a team effort. While I'm the only GIS specific dedicated staff member, all of our staff members participate in our GIS program through the various different applications that we have. And it truly wouldn't succeed if they didn't use it. It doesn't matter how many applications I build. If nobody uses them, it's no good for anything. So it was an honor to go out to San Diego and receive the award from the president of the company, Esri, which is the world's leading GIS software company. And so thank you for sending me out there to enjoy San Diego for a couple of days. That was a good experience. And to put it in a little bit of perspective, because this was a little bit of a shock, the statistic to me, just the sheer numbers. In his Jack Dangermond's speech at the award ceremony, he cited that they have a total of about over 600,000 organizations that are members that subscribe to Esri that use their software throughout the world. And so out of those 600,000, this year's award recipients numbered about 280 of 600,000 organizations. And of those 280, about half of those were international awards. So that we stood out, the city of Oak Hill stood out in the top 140 of all the organizations in the United States. So I think that reflects very highly on us, especially as a very small municipality. It's very progressive in what we're doing. So.
Woo! Thank you, Tyler. Congratulations. All right, we're now moving into unfinished business. Number one, Public hearing on bond ordinance authorizing the acquisition and construction of certain additions, betterments and improvements to the existing public sewerage facilities of the city of Oak Hill, and the financing of the cost not otherwise provided thereof through the issuance by the city of Oak Hill and not more than $4,949,000 in aggregate principal amount of the city of Oak Hill sewer revenue bonds in 2 series. The first series to be designated sewer revenue bonds, series 2024A. That's part of the West Virginia SRF program, and the second to be designated sewer revenue bonds, series 2024B. Also part of the West Virginia SRF program, providing for the rights and remedies of and security for the holders of such bonds, authorizing execution and delivery of all documents relating to the issuance of such bonds, approving, ratifying, and confirming bond purchase agreements with the West Virginia Water Development Authority and the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection relating to such series 2024A bonds and series 2024B bonds, authorizing the sale and providing for the terms and provisions of such bonds and adopting other provisions related thereto. Okay. And now we'll open our public hearing. All right, Mr. You're gonna have to give me a pronunciation again. I know it's Corey.
Sorry, yes. Bonasso. Yeah, so now the public hearing is open. If there's anyone from the public that would like to speak, this is their opportunity. If there are no members of the public who would like to speak, then you can go ahead and close the public hearing and we can move on to a motion to approve the ordinance.
Anyone? We will close the public hearing. Make the motions. To be the final action following such public hearing to give final approval to the issuance of bonds as described in one above and to put the bond ordinance into effect.
Being the motion,
Yes.
my motion is to give the final approval for the issuance of the bond for the sewer project as described in item 1.
I second that.
All right. Proper motion and second. All those in favor?
Uh,
Any further questions? All those opposed? So moved. Moving to number 3, consideration of final action on supplemental resolution supplementing and amending the bond ordinance described in number 1 above relating to the bonds. This is a supplemental resolution providing as to principal amounts, dates, maturity dates, interest rates, principal payment dates, redemption provisions, sale prices, and other terms of the sewer revenue bonds, series 2024A, and the sewer revenue bonds, series 2024B, all part of the SRF program, City of Oak Hill. Ratifying and approving bond purchase agreements relating to such bonds and the sale and delivery of such bonds to the West Virginia Water Development Authority, designating a bonds registrar, depository bank, and paying agent, and making other provisions as to the bonds. Once again, we need the public hearing again for this part.
No, this one you can simply
So then
request for a motion to approve the
request
resolution.
for a motion.
I move to approve the supplemental resolutions, supplementing and amending the bond ordinance described in 1A above and read by the mayor.
Second that.
Motion second. All those in favor? All opposed? Motion so carries. At this time, we will be taking a recess.
Mr. Mayor, if I could interject, there was one final agenda item on number 4. It was actually a resolution to authorize and approve the requisition, the first requisition that would occur upon closing of the bonds. That's separate apart from the supplemental. I told you wrong at the beginning of the meeting. But that will need to be just a motion to approve and authorize the requisition, first requisition of the bond proceeds.
You want to explain that again?
Sure. A motion to approve and authorize the first requisition of the bond proceeds.
I make a motion to approve the final resolution
First requisition of the,
requisition.
sorry.
I didn't quite hear all of it, trying to get there.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion is carried. All right, now we will move into our recess hearing. That's it. All right, thank you. Very briefly, folks.
I was going to ask.
Welcome back, folks. We now call back to order our city council meeting here, September 9th, 2024. We are going to skip ahead on our agenda briefly. Sam with Frenchers here. We're going to jump into number 9 and number 10, City Park authorizing resolution and the Frencher service order approval.
Good evening, everyone. I know we have some new council members, maybe since the last time I've been up here, so I'll just quickly introduce myself. I am Sam Ridge. I'm a project manager with the Thrasher Group, who was selected as the architect engineering firm for the Oak Hill City Park renovations project. We work with the city on getting phase 1 out the bid, which is scheduled to be completed this month. I was in front of you all several months ago where we talked about this Land and Water Conservation Fund grant, and I sat here and pessimistically told you how difficult it is to get these grants and how competitive they are. And here we are several months later, and the city has been awarded a total grant project of $400,000. 50% of that is city matching funds, which you all committed to the project, $200,000. And the other $200,000 comes from the Department of Interior, National Park Service, and is administered through the state's development office. The overall summary of what this project is it's going to make inclusive playground upgrades at City Park. So it will add some accessible playground equipment, poured in place rubber surfacing, and add some accessible pathways to get to that equipment, as well as resurface the entirety of the existing playground area with new pre-engineered wood fiber mulch, as well as some stormwater improvements. This will also include a shade sail canopy with some picnic tables and other site furnishings, as well as some benches, tables, and some of the benches will have their own standalone canopies. So it's adding some much needed shade down at the park, which the community has been pretty vocal about wanting. Really, the first item that is on the agenda here is the resolution that is in front of you. This is required to basically move forward with the grant. So, Demita, I don't know if you have anything to add to that as far as this first item here.
I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions? All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
So the item number 10 on the agenda is approval of our agreement. So this is a new AIE service order that I have presented the city with that is for our fees associated with the next phase of this particular grant project. The total lump sum amount is $35,000. This is included in that $400,000 total project budget. This is not an addition to. So that was built into the application and submitted, when we applied for this grant. So this is one of the budget items and just the formality of our agreement so that we can assist with future design. We'll be helping with bidding. There'll be a couple different contracts on this. We're going to move forward with purchasing the playground equipment through a vendor, through a cooperative purchasing agreement. And then we're also going to have a general contract that will be bid out for some of the other improvements that will need to be made. So we'll provide all the design, bidding, construction, administration, inspection services associated with the contract from start to
finish. Motion that we approve.
I second it. Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? All opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. So a quick question for you, if I may. Is there anything in that park that can be recycled? Equipment wise?
We're only removing, if you look on the screen there, right below those two little green dots, as part of this grant project, we're only removing a small piece of equipment there. The rest of the equipment is not being removed as part of this project. We have applied for congressional directed spending requests, which were not we, like I'm the city, but the city of Oak Hill is on the initial recommendation from the senator's office. So as long as everything goes well and gets passed in the budget, likely in January, there'll be an additional $1.8 million coming to this project. So that next phase would include a complete replacement of all that equipment. As far as things that you can reuse, recycle, benches, tables, absolutely. It's very frowned upon to recycle the playground equipment because of liability and insurance reasons. And it's also very hard to take it apart and put it back together. So just a word of caution. Most people don't like to do it for that reason alone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, have a good evening.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sam.
We're going back to unfinished business. Number 6 now, our planning commission, the recommendation to add non-automotive sales lot to zoning definition. This will be the second reading.
We had this last month on the first reading, and it's just to add a sales lot, bigger items, boats, RVs, equipment. To add that into our definitions in B3 and industrial.
I'll make that motion on the planning commission recommendation.
I'll second that.
We have a proper motion and a second. All those in favor? All opposed? Motion is carried to adopt planning commission's recommendation to add non-automotive sales lot to zoning definition. Number 7, our vacant building registration fees.
This is a continuation of our discussion from last month. We have the vacant building fees, the current vacant building fees in there, and then Terry and PJ made a recommendation on how to amend those fees. And that's the other section, and I have copies for you, but they're on this. That's what they currently are. So this is, well,
Going down, it's like the third page.
and this is also recommending the 60-day time period, that only 60 days has to pass. The property is vacant for 60 days. So
Whereas
this-
the first one, 180 days.
It started out at 45.
Well,
And it was changed.
It actually got changed all the way up to 180.
Yeah.
And then with no fees. So I have actually looked through other municipalities and they're all at 60 and one is at 40. One is at 90. So I figured that 60 would be ours and the registration fee, all of them charge.
So if you have a vacant structure that's been vacant, let's say 70 days, and you register it for the $200, and then you rent it, do you get a prorated refund on that $200?
You wouldn't on the registration fee, no. But you wouldn't fall into the $400 fee.
Right. So if you have a vacant structure for 61 days, you've got to pay $200.
It has that, the fee may be refunded, prorated only for the current year during the 6 months following registration anniversary, if all the following apply. Well, it's the same.
Yeah, I think
It's the same as it is now.
Yeah, it's the same wording as what is in there now. The only thing we've done was put a registration fee into it. And we've raised our fees. We've raised our fees. A couple of the municipalities told me that if you really want to see movement, you want to dig deep. Well, at first, that's where I was at. I mean, I was digging real deep, but then I thought, man, we're in a smaller town than what some of these are that are digging real deep. And to sit down and try to do something like that. So I kind of just bumped everything $400 increments is what I did.
So is this all structures or just commercial or commercial and residential or all?
The wording that we had in the last ordinance was residential or commercial. I didn't want to separate it. I just left it the way that it was.
Well, and I think you're walking a fine line of being too strict or not strict enough. That's where we're at. But I know, you can take our main street, and I know that there's vacant structures that have been vacant for a long time with no urgency whatsoever to repurpose them or renovate them or rent them. There are other structures that have been actively on the market for more than 60 days.
Well, I think that would be something that I don't think that if you can sit down and show that you have actively been, your place is move-in ready. Okay? If you're a move-in ready business, you have actively been trying to find, an occupant. I don't feel that would be something that we would actually have to go with that, but it would have to be, the proof has to be there. The utilities has to be on. It still falls under that certain criteria that we'd still have to follow. But I was asked that question earlier about vacant buildings that may have registered. Well, if you sat down and look at last year's income for vacant building register, we only made $6,000. If you sat down and broke it down to the buildings that's here, it's $87 a building. That's not helping us, and that's not helping them.
So part of this needs because the registry, the vacant building registry, have to go in along with this ordinance. We've got to come up with a way of developing a registry and an implementation. If we was to pass this, an implementation process, right?
The implementation's already been there.
We have one, it's just not working. We have the forms for them to fill out and send them, but it's on an Excel spreadsheet. And that's something to get all that, so that it gives us a reminder to send out the new next year's notice. And
if you look online right now, that registry form's already on our website. Just has to have the fees updated on it too. And if you do it, most everybody would rather do it online. If you do it online, then it's an automatic. It's going to automatically key in.
So does that not need to be separated between residential and?
It is on the registry form.
Guess what I'm saying is because you have buildings out there that are commercial and residential combined. Commercial part of it is empty, but the residential part of it is being occupied. So someone could theoretically have an argument that their building is occupied. Am I correct in stating that? If you just says vacant buildings.
I don't think so.
Yes. What?
By current ordinance, yes.
By the current ordinance.
The current ordinance.
Yes.
is very clear that if you have a residential unit or you have a tenant, the bona fide tenant in a building that also has a storefront, then that building is not deemed to be vacant according to the ordinance right now.
Which I think needs to be changed.
That's for you guys to decide.
Well, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that because if you've got a renter above, to say that you got renters above your business, that's, and I'm gonna throw this out here, and I'm probably gonna hate myself for doing it, but that would be the same if you sat down and said, okay, you've got a vacant building. Okay. I can show you, there's probably 8 to 10 places here in the city of Oak Hill that is one vacant building. It's got 2 storefronts. So you would have to actually state that a storefront instead of by vacant building. And by, just because you have a renter in the residential part, if the storefront is still open, vacant, then you still have vacant property. I think the storefront is what you would have to add. Would that be correct, Bill?
It could certainly be written that way. I don't think it's written that way right now.
No, it's not.
Right, no, it's sort of language to cover it. I think, and maybe there is, but I think you're gonna have to safeguard folks that have an apartment building or any type of structure, and they're gonna renovate it. Some of those you can do in 60 days, some you cannot. So you have to safeguard against those folks, because that's what we want to promote.
Yes, that is. And I've thought about that, and I had talked a little bit with a couple other people about that. If they're renovating, do they have a permit? Okay, if you're renovating,
Most of the time,
and don't get me wrong, but if you're renovating a place and you have a permit, then really not considered vacant right now because you are working on it.
But I could see a long-term renovation that wouldn't require a permit as well. You're going to change the floor coverings and you got to do a deep clean and all that. You're doing it by yourself as a property owner. I could see that taking either 3 or 4 or 5 months.
I mean, I don't know how we can get around it all, but right now we're not doing anything.
If I may, I think that's already addressed. I'm looking under the appeal rights section in our current code, and there's a waiver of registration fees. And then this also goes into how if the owner can demonstrate with satisfactory proof to the city manager or his designee that she is in the process of demolition, rehabilitation, or other substantial repair of the vacant building, and objectively demonstrates to the city manager or his designee a reasonable anticipated length of time for the demolition, rehabilitation, or other substantial part of the repair of the vacant building. So I think that's legitimate. I think it's already been considered in here.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if we revamp this whole thing, that needs to stay in there.
Yes. Well, see, that's the reason why really the only thing I was wanting to do was change fees before registration instead of 180 to 60 and to just up our fees. The only other thing that I seen that we may have to put in there would be storefronts and separate, like Chris had pointed out, you have apartments above a storefront. Split occupancy. Yes.
And it already says too that a one-time waiver of the registration fee for up to 90 days can be granted by the city manager. So like if they, like what you're saying, Bill, is if someone's actively, they just put it on the market, they didn't get it sold within 60 days or rented 60 days, and they came to the meeting and said, can we get an extension on this before we have to register? That could be another 90 days. And you need to bring it under that to give them some more time too.
Also think it would be good if we had something in there that you prorate till a certain time, so all of them are coming due at the same time. Then you don't have to worry about keep them particular and.
So you do that and pick a date, July 1, they're all due.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Start with the fiscal year.
Yeah,
Fiscal year starts January 1st, July 1st.
but then. So you would prorate the registration fee.
So, I mean, they're just something, I just think it would make it easier for implementation and it's,
Like that too.
if you knew that it was gonna be either July 1st or January 1st, whatever, if somehow.
I figure our fiscal year starts on July 1. That would probably be the start of that fiscal year for that, wouldn't it?
But I don't know, if you would have a problem with that too, because let's say on, if it's June the 15th and somebody registers a vacant structure, you prorate 15 days of the.
I'd say start.
Yeah, I think that was actually.
Well, pick another one, pick April, and you prorate the month, May and June. And that person has to pay 2 months out of the $200. But then another person, a different person, has, if they're here July the 10th, they're gonna have to pay nearly the whole $200, and there's no way for them to be refunded that month. The first person, if the building became occupied, they would have paid just a few dollars. Somebody right after that would have to pay the full 200 with no chance of refund.
Or you can make them, maybe you make them pay 200 and then they're getting a little extra, I guess, till the next year. So if they come in March, you say, okay, give me $200, but your next renewal won't be till June of the next year.
For July.
Or July of the next year.
Yeah.
So just something like that.
You could do a prorated refund of the $200.
What about the people that don't come to me? That has the buildings out there and it's on
Well,
Main Street, the storefront
We
that
would
says, I'm
send
not,
them,
let you know that my building is vacant. I'm not gonna work. What do you do there?
if we know it's vacant, then we'll send them, we'll send it out. We send them the registration and tell them. And that's another thing, you know, you have to have a way to keep up with that. You send it out, have you gotten,
Well, see, that's what we was talking about too. If Tyler was able to put this on a GIS where Allison could be out, Ben could be out, Bill could be out. And if they happen to come across and they pull it up and it's not, this building is not on there, then they can pin it. Then it's going to automatically generate what needs to go to that customer, to that owner, not to the customer, but to that owner, saying, okay, you failed to register. You have 30 days to register. And then if you're not registered within that 30 days, then there's a penalty behind it. You've already had 30 days. You've already had 60. Now you extended it 30 more.
Steve Miller Building. Have you ever seen the constitutionality of vacant structure? Have you ever seen a question?
I would not. That was implemented what you all have. I have not seen it.
We have so many buildings, storefronts, whatever you want. I mean, Sting Miller's been an eyesore. Sad. I mean, our town, there's just certain places that you drive through and it's better than that. What we've got, I mean, what Terry has put together and raising this people. And somehow we gotta generate funds, and they shouldn't be allowed to sit there. I just don't.
I think the other part of it, and Allison's touched on this too. I really think however many dollars in revenue you make off this, it doesn't go towards, the dollars don't go towards improving the property. The penalty to the property owner is what the incentive is. But I really think that the key to it is to not just a negative incentive, but a positive incentive too, for somebody to get a building that's move-in ready. And that's tough to do with your utilities. A lot of times, that's one of the key factors, utilities and the roof. And so I think you have to, I'm not opposed to the negative incentive, but I also think we have to work hard towards a positive incentive as well to, hey, this is how you can make money off this building. This is how you can sell it. This is how you can renovate it. These are some things we can do with the building. It's all positive. And
well, see, and actually I'm glad that you brought that up, because me and Allison have been talking, and what she's working with too is kind of an incentive program with some of these business owners that if you are trying to, and I think she's working on grants for that right now, to where that she can do a 50-50 match to help you with your roof, help you with your power, restructure, whatever, that business can become operational. It's not just sitting here. This is actually an incentive to send them to her too, to help with this. It's not to sit here and see how much we can drain from you. That's not the intention of this at all. The intention of this is to see if you can reach out to Allison, or even reach out to Allison to help you to fill that structure. She may be able to get through with some of the people through the hub or anything else. They might have somebody that's already looking for that building. There's other ways that we can help as a city. It's not just by imposing the fine. The fine is just so that the business owner will actually sit down. Roger said this months ago. You're paying $1,200 a month for payment on your place. You can't rent it for $1,500. Rent it for $1,000. You're only paying $200 a month for that, instead of paying $1,200 a month. That little bit would help you better than you paying it all yourself. And that's all we're trying to do, is just try to sit down and get the business owner to either, with Allison, help rent it, with Allison, help it to become rentable.
We've drafted the letter already, that's ready to go. As soon as a property owner, as long as it's approved, as soon as a property owner is notified of the structure, or as soon as they notify us of this structure, we've got a letter, ready to go with that says, hey, we also have this economic development avenue for you. We can help you find tenants. We can go through our structural or our engineering analysis through Chapman. We have all these different business support programs, but you need to we have these for you to assist you in this. So like the letter's already drafted. It's been drafted for months, ready to go, just waiting on these ordinances and everything to kind of be in lockstep with one another so that we can present our business, our building owners with a consistent program that we can actually follow through on transparently.
You're waiting on the grant.
No, we're not waiting on the grant approval for that.
Will we commit to assisting someone?
No way. No, well, before we commit to giving money, like we have to get money before we give money. But no, we already have a great relationship with the SBDC, with West Virginia Hive, with West Virginia Community Development Fund, West Virginia Housing Authority. There are already, not through the city of Oak Hill, but through state and federal programs, there are already ways that we can help these business owners. So what they just have to do is reach out to me, and then I'll play matchmaker with the resources that are already existing. Now, the grants or other potential funds that we might be able to administer to be able to help get these buildings up to the point of occupancy, that we don't have yet. That's a more in-depth study, and a much more in-depth program. So we can't offer that yet. We don't have the money, or we don't have that program built out. There's a whole lot of assistance that we've already got ready and available for them. And several businesses are already in the queue using it now.
So this might kind of be off a little bit, but it kind of ties in with this also with these vacant buildings. Last month you mentioned that there was some buildings along in town that were inhabitable. So these ones that are inhabitable, maybe with, roofs falling in or something, do we have that's going to be part of this also, because you can't, if you can't move in it, so are you planning on looking into with the SIB board, they haven't been active in forever, but, going out and grading these buildings and, seeing what needs demoed, and our SIB board at one time was really, really active. Was looking at those.
Now, if I understand correctly, Ben, with what you're into now, I don't know if we still need to go through the structural inspection board.
Ben can condemn a building. And then we just have to give the notices to have it, that they have to demolish it.
We still have that SIB board though, right?
Right, but they're also on the appeal board. The structural inspection board is now the appeal. They haven't changed it. Not right now, it's still 2, but they're the appeal board for the contractors. The ones that if the contractors have if Ben tells them to do something they don't want to do.
That's not SIB though.
No, we've named we have a separate board for that. It's the appeal. But they just happen to be the same people that are on the structural inspection board.
Who are that?
It's John Tuggle, Danny Damron, and one other person.
Blaine Woodson on that.
Blaine, yes. On the structural inspection board is me, the mayor, John Tuggle, and we never got Tim is on it. And we never did replace.
Josh Jones.
No, he resigned.
He never did replace him.
Yeah.
So they would review and possibly deal with any appeals to a decision made by me to condemn a building. It's lined out exactly in code through the IPMC how this would go forward. That would be our structural inspection board / building appeals board. I will say I've got a chart in front of me. This past week, I went to a class that went over the International Mechanical Code and the International Plumbing Code. So I've actually got a chart that is the minimum requirements for plumbing facilities inside of buildings across all the occupancies. And these are obtainable even in some of our, not necessarily the worst dilapidated buildings, but in several of the buildings we have around town. There are requirements for, business for light industrial. 1 bathroom per 25 for the first 50 and 1 per 50 for the remaining exceeding 50. So that's your occupancy load for a building. These are minimal standards. So we're talking about bathroom facilities of maybe 2 bathrooms with a sink, a stall, and a urinal for the men's side, and then a sink and a stall for the female side to meet those minimum requirements by the IBC. So when we start working on this, guys, let's get the ball rolling. Let's find a way to help these people using the standards that minimally are needed to put them in these places. That makes sense.
Well, I believe we got off course a little bit.
I think so too.
Yes.
Oh,
My bad.
that's okay. But I think that dilapidated property goes hand in hand with vacant property. You obviously can't have one without having both at times. And the vacant property, and I agree with it. But that's not the worst of the worst. The worst of the worst is dilapidated structures. And I think if we're putting our emphasis on vacant structures right now, you're not looking at the worst of the worst. You're going to look at some nice structures every now and then that are just merely vacant. But I think our dilapidated structures, in my opinion, is more important. So they've already tipped over the brink, and you can spot them a mile away. And they're the ones that are usually, well, I'll say always, more unsafe for your community and more detriment to your community than just a vacant structure. So I believe we've backslid and we've gotten away from dilapidated property. And now we're going after vacant property hardcore. I think it needs to be reversed. Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Except the dilapidated property costs money, vacant right now, that's certain. But there's another funding of the REAP grant that we can apply for. And we can start that again.
So just to throw this out here, the two actually go hand in hand. For instance, we notify a property owner about the fact that it's a vacant building. They say, well, how do I get rid of this? They call us, then we potentially can get them signed up through the inspection process to link them as a dilapidated building. Then they're removed from the vacant building responsibility because we're waiting to potentially tear them down, getting grant funding or funding from some other source. But while we're doing one, we're also doing the other. That makes sense?
Yeah,
Because that's how it works, guys. When we get one, 5 other people find out about it and, oh, wow, I don't want to pay that vacant building. Here, I can donate my property also. Or not donate their property, but get their structures removed also because they are dilapidated buildings that are too far out of reach of repair.
And some may actually donate it to the city.
City of Princeton has over 100 parcels of property where that is happening.
So we don't have.
Or the city of Huntington.
Yeah,
I'm
we
aware.
don't have a lane.
We don't have we could do it through the county, but we don't have a land reuse agency as a municipality. And that's one of the things that we would be studying when it comes to options for rehabbing vacant commercial structures.
Totally fine with that. Throwing that out there that is an existence entrance.
So
Huntington.
well, I think with the next round of refunding for that, we need to, because I know we didn't utilize all the money, the last REAP program, because we were behind the 8 ball in having the dilapidated structures that exist that weren't far enough along in the process. So we lost that money. So I think it's imperative that if we get another round of money, that we spend every penny of it.
And I agree.
Because we used to do it out of the general fund. We tore down, until that REAP program, we tore every house that was torn down or structure was paid for out of the general fund. We didn't do them all at once, but we did them on a continual monthly basis.
That was done through the SIB board. I'm a big fan of it, and I always have
SIB
been
board.
because of there's nothing political in it, and it's all by a score. It's all by judging it by a score.
There's nothing in that program that we did with SIB that will meet the REAP requirements to get that money. You have to have somebody to condemn the building. And it has to be somebody that's certified like Ben is. Or it has to be in the machine.
And by starting the vacant building registry, find more of your dilapidated buildings.
So do we have a listing now?
We have, yes, we have some. The ones that we were.
That might be true, but we got a whole lot more torn down before.
Right, you can do, I mean, if you're not getting the money from Reed, then you can do it that way. But it's,
They have.
I mean,
to jump through, yeah.
it's pretty easy to have Ben condemn the person give you a right of entry to demolish and that's it. I mean, because they want it to be torn down too. So that works out pretty good. He has a list to go by. It's not like he can just go out and say, oh, I want to demolish this building. You have to prove that certain things are done. It would be easier for me to go and say, I want this house torn down and I excuse the requirements for want to have them demolished. But the point is with that right now, your city manager is also your finance director. And I can't take that on.
Right.
Again, if you run the vacant building registry along with dilapidated structures, you're gonna have people jumping from one to the other to take care of a building that is too far gone. Like these two are meant to run tandem with each other.
I don't know that we've got enough. We went brought up so many ideas. I think we kind of, I don't know that we can make any decision out of the table in this.
I mean, maybe you can appoint
And
a committee or.
to look at the ordinance and look at everything and draft up something. I think we need to.
Sorry if I steered us off.
I'll move to table that. Until, some draft ordinances can be made. I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second to table vacant building registration fees, discussion and decision part of this. All those in favor? All opposed? Motion. You close it? On that one too. Motion is still carried. Okay, down to number 8, new business, Park Drive at City Park, parking and traffic determination.
Okay, when the city park was paved, the area on the right-hand side there was paved. Some of the people that are innovative and think ahead, not like me, thought that that would be a good place for parking. Instead of having a two-way street, that it would be good to park on that side where the new paving is and then have a one-way street coming from Bibb to the sharp or the big curve there at the Lewis Community Center. And so that is what we're asking for, to have this one-way, to have Park Drive be a one-way street. I think Tyler probably has some more. Do you have anything to add to that? You can tell them how many parking places you have.
No, just so you know what you're looking at, I took this new aerial photography with our drone, so it would have all the updated paving and the appropriate street width. It's hard to see on the screen, but and I can get anybody to print a copy if you need, but there is a green polygon through the middle of that represents a 50-foot aisle width all the way through there. There's a lot of standards when you go looking into this about what you need with any 45-degree parking, 60-degree parking. When you have those, what is your aisle width and your minimum aisle width? This is a proposal. From the best I could tell, this meets all the standards with 45-degree parking, 15-foot aisle width for one way, couple of speed bumps showing about 250 feet spacing. There is some parking on this right hand side, which is the ball field side, and then the section as well. Ends up being about 111 spaces, which is, I don't know the exact number that there was when you factor in the parallel parking. Before, there were about 50 spaces up Carlton Way was about what all you could fit up there previously. I don't know the number of parallel spaces, but it wasn't 111. This is a scale drawing that should represent pretty close to what we can achieve realistically down there. And that's and some additional 88 parking spaces parallel in front of the basketball court as well. So all these in parallel ADA spaces, as well as 3 additional ADA spaces beside it.
And also Chief Wiseman, looked at some camera footage and to see which way that people were driving most. And it was from here to, Central. Even he proved himself wrong because he thought so.
Yeah, I thought it would be opposite, so I looked at 2 days worth of footage, and about 90% of them are going the way that we're proposing to take it. I thought it would be the opposite.
We had some concerns about the parking and about the people having to park and cross over the street. So that's why the speed bumps are in there, just to slow down traffic there so that it wouldn't be such a big deal to go across the street.
Tyler, we also discussed the temporary parking balusters there when you enter Carlton Way, where it could be determined if you wanted to open that road up for an event for a certain reason. But typically under normal circumstances, that would be blocked off to vehicle traffic because your concession stand is down between the 2 fields, which is going to create a lot of public walking traffic.
Correct. Those bollards on Carlton Way that will block any particular access into Carlton Way down that whole corridor. Those are going to be installed as part of the current park project. They would have always been part of the project. Then you have the flexibility of whether you want to block that off if you feel like you have adequate parking. But if you get down there and look at Carlton Way with the concession stand, now you've brought a high concentration of pedestrian traffic right beside Carlton Way. People are going to be running around getting their concessions. That's always been the thought, is to just put the bollards up and block that off. Unless there's a special event, maybe the concession stand's not open, or some other reason that you might need access up Carlton Way. But otherwise, it would be blocked off.
I've seen people park on up close and they go to the Lewis Field there.
Right. And that's something that, council may or just administratively have to make the decision of when it's blocked off and when it's not. The initial thought was definitely during baseball season. If there's adequate parking, not utilizing the parking up Carlton Way, it would be ideal to block it off so that, with concession stand going full tilt during baseball season, you don't have, and then you got all fields being used, you're gonna have kids running around, pedestrians, try to keep the vehicle traffic.
I think one of the things that I like this idea, because one of the things that I believe we're going to see is that used to be one way from April to June, just for the baseball season. Well, now you're not, there's been a huge increase in the park activity lately. If you haven't noticed, go down there. And then now it's not just going to be that baseball season, but if I understand correctly, this is opening up a whole new travel ball all summer, all fall, where this field could be used. So
that's what they're wanting to get as many tournaments in.
Yeah, so it's not just going to be that little bit of time, but that area up Carlton Way could be used all summer long. And with the new additions, that
Well, that's something you can always figure that out along the way. You've got bollards, you can go down there and remove them. If you want to open it, you install it. If you want to close it, and you make that decision as you see how it plays out.
Also, the highlighted location on your new parking, that's going to create an access to your walking trail also.
Yeah.
This will bring traffic off of that, or people want to park there. Because if you think about it, we don't have a tremendous amount of parking for the rail trail. People park at the fire station, they park there at the depot. There's not a tremendous amount of parking. With that access, it gives a tremendous amount of parking for people to access that.
What's that gonna do for the entrance coming into the, like you want to park at the depot? Or you're turning into the Lewis parking lot? Is that gonna?
Well, the thought would be that at the termination before, if you're traveling from the restroom or Good Street, when you get down to that sharp S curve, that's where the one-way stops. At the end of that, which would still allow people to come in from Central Avenue to access the parking lot. But as soon as you made the turn onto the straight stretch, that's where you wouldn't make that turn, because that's where that was the discussion that was had with the safety committee. One other point that we did discuss, I just wanted to bring up as a thought. It appears, as we discussed, that a lot of that traffic is through traffic that's coming through there right now. If you go down there and observe for a while, you'll see, we had 10, 15 vehicles come down there and drive through while we were standing there talking about this. And they weren't stopping through to use the park. And so we think that by installing speed bumps all the way along, not only does it control your traffic that is coming down there, but we think that would likely deter some of the through traffic that doesn't need to be going through there. I mean, it's now, as you mentioned, more highly used area for pedestrians down the park. You don't really want through traffic. What you want to minimize it. But as far as not about here, is less of a risk to be a danger to pedestrians. That was.
So the safety committee does recommend change to.
Mayor, I'd like to motion to accept the take the safety committee's recommendation of making this a one-way street permanently to make it a one-way street. I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any further questions? All those in favor? All opposed? So moved. Motion's carried. We are now moving to number 11, the consideration of dumpster guidelines.
I just added, put in some